Hello, Hiro.
Hello, I'm audible, right?
Uh, Audible na?
Yes.
Base obsessions. So, blockchain versus currency of and at all. I would like to introduce myself. I am Piyush Sahu, uh, founder of AITD Events, a platform or a community of college students where they can meet and get all their data, their studies and all.
All right. So I'm Hero. I'm the founder of Unreal AI, an open source deepin for GPUs and data centers connecting a couple of data centers across Africa, America, and the Middle East. Is there a latency issue? Hello? Piers, am I audible?
It's clear right now.
Yeah, is the network issue from your end or mine?
It's from my end.
All
Actually,
right.
I'm facing a network error.
Okay.
So let's start with the introduction. Na? So hello everyone. I am Piyush, founder of AITD Events. So AITD Events is a platform or a community of college students, especially B.Tech students and technical students, where all developers meet and build something, get collect all the events detail, build their team, and there are so many features related to the student, whichever they want. I also share the earning opportunities throughout the college through my platform and all my community. Or I'm also part of Kanpur DAO, and I love to contribute in Web3 and blockchain. So, Hero,
Yeah,
it's
Yeah, I'm the founder of Unreal AI. We are now we offer enterprise solutions to connect the enterprises to data centers, enabling access to uh, massive scales of GPUs across the world. So we have connected clients in Middle East to GPU centers set up in South America, Argentina to be specific. So yeah, and I was previously an engineer. I worked for in the Web 2 and Web 3 combined for 7 years, of which I was primarily working in Web 2 for the first four.
okay. So, as the today's topic is regarding the public blockchain versus privacy first blockchain, so I would like to hear what is public blockchain. So everyone know about the Bitcoin, na? So Bitcoin is a type of blockchain, which is open for everyone. Everyone can contribute, and when we talk about public blockchains, are open and permissionless. Okay, so which allows anyone anywhere to participate without the gatekeepers. Uh, what is your overview regarding privacy first protocols
So
or the private?
privacy first protocols, it can be a blockchain, it can be a network, it can be literally any means of communication for that matter. The core design goal is to protect user identity, transaction details, sensitive data, exactly minimize transparency, but maximum security. So that's the goal. With public blockchain, what you get is too much open transparency, which enables a lot of threat actors to play in exploit users. On the privacy side, those exploits are minimized to a large extent. So privacy stands in a way where you get the best from Web 2, you get the security of Web 2, but you also get a decent level of transparency that's necessary to be in Web 3.
Actually, when we talk about the public blockchain, so Ethereum, Bitcoin, and all these are built on a public blockchain. Na. So how can you say that the blockchain is better? Both are necessary in Web3, but there have different motives now.
So are you talking about some of the top layers like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and in fact, privacy first protocols emerge as solution for the crisis in public blockchain. The crisis we are talking about is privacy, and it's not just privacy. Even though we say it's privacy, it's basically safety. That safety is an essential layer that's incredibly minimized. For instance, let's take MEV for instance. So MEV, if you're a trader, if you are working in a with the deterministic protocols, that's essentially the apps that's launched into Ethereum, they are all vulnerable to MEV. Every trading protocol, every swapping, every bridge, it's all vulnerable because it uses essentially a swap ratio or ratio function, and it can be exploited at any point by various threat actors. You're open, you're transparent, your mempool is transparent, everything is transparent. And as far as your validators are concerned, they just do the validation of the transaction, whether the signature is valid or not. That's the validity you get. The best that's it. There is no security there. So,
Uh, but when we talk about the public blockchain, so the fundamental thing is scaling. In Web3, scalability is where matters. No? When we talk about the scale, it's not just about the TPS or speed. Scaling also means number of users, developers, apps, integration, and trust. Basically, the trust is the main also part at a global level. So I think public blockchain are scale trust and not just transactions now.
okay. If you're talking about scale, what scale without safety? So let's take, for instance, the recent hacks that's been involved with Ethereum-based chains, Ethereum. So no DEX is inherently safe in Ethereum. So if you want to launch a DEX, either be a player, acknowledge that you're running a casino, which is gonna run out of business, or you just have to evolve over time, try to do the marketing play there. So I've talked to like Uniswap teams, and they agree like it's inherently possible for you to lose your all your money, not just as an LP liquidity provider, but also as a trader. And maybe that's fundamentally a flaw in Ethereum. Like if you have that much level of public, I mean, you're showing everything. You are deterministic and you are public. Everything is public. Your mempool is public. So that enables I mean, you are a Turing machine. You're Turing complete. I agree. Okay. Ethereum EVM is Turing complete. Now, what's possible? What's possible is everything. So what there is nothing stopping. There's literally no rail guards, and there is no way to implement. Like I have tried, I'm a Solidity developer too. So I can only implement as many as guards as possible. Like there are guards that I just can't implement because while building the app, I just have the blockchain data. just the blockchain data, not the real live data of what's happening. So there is no way for me to turn down a transaction. I can only cross-reference it with the historical data that I have. So we then start leveraging oracles to make it secure, but there are also ways to beat oracles to an extent. So you have $1 trillion locked in public blockchains. That $1 trillion is like it's just not safe there. You're basically in Gotham City with no Batman, just a couple of jokers who doesn't mind burning down the entire protocol. So if you so there were like a couple of
But
instances where
hero, uh,
Mhm.
actually, the public blockchains like it will be around 15 years to the Bitcoin, na? So when we talk about the Bitcoin or Ethereum, so like public blockchain like Ethereum showed that anyone can verify, build, and participate without permission, na? So that open verification layer is what allowed DeFi, NFTs, and DAO to scale globally at the global level. But in case of Bitcoin, we have not faced all the errors and any kind of frauds, as you are talking about the casino or all the. So in case
So,
casino is
so
different thing now.
just because you have not noticed doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. Just because I can access Goan casinos, I can't say that no one's losing their money. I mean, just because I don't see it, it's a very secure place where they don't let me in with cameras in, so I don't have a live feed of what's happening inside the casino, and you can blindly say that okay, based on the network, the reactions around the place, this is what's happening. But yeah, what you're saying when you say you're public, all you're saying is some data that's passed across two different addresses. You don't know if it's a hack or not. Every transaction could be a hack or it's not, unless someone claims. So that Bitcoin, the main issue is that even though there is some level of degree of transparency because it doesn't have a DApp layer, you can never realize there's always scripts that you can use, Bitcoin scripts. But aside from that, there is unless someone admits, and people do admit losing their money in Bitcoin too. That's no joke. I mean, in Texas, I guess, in the Long Mile Road, someone actually got severed. Like literally, their fingers were cut down just to get access to their hardware wallets. That kind of exploits happen, and you, as a user, you become so ashamed of using the public blockchain where so many crimes takes place. So it becomes literally like this place where you use Bitcoin, whatever the crypto is, becomes this marketplace that's unlocked for criminals, for money laundering, for all kinds of illegal purposes, and it has no value for a legitimate user. That's the real struggle here. There is no legitimate value that's being added as a legal tax-paying citizen in the country. You're better off with a bank where you get some insurance. If you get conned or scammed, at the least case you could have your attackers or scammers account freeze, because you can trust your authorities to do their job, because I mean they are governed by the bureaucracy, and the bureaucracy consists of people we elected as a democratic country ourselves. So that's what's missing here. You have no control over validator sets. You are not voting for validator sets. Even if you're voting, it's just that it's too easy to make the game. It looks so real at one point, but you have to take a different angle where okay, it's not. Public blockchains doesn't live up to the promise they are making. They're not able to ensure anyone. I had friends who have lost 100K. I personally haven't lost any so far because I've been very careful. But the way I put it is that public blockchains aren't for people without like 20 years of experience. And even with 20 years of experience, you can be careless and lose your money in blockchain. It's as easy as that. Literally have to keep your private key in a device or a hardware that that no one can access. Also, it's not connected to any device. It's not connected to any of the modern OS. Because there are so many ways to get your things hacked. There are supply chain hacks that's preventing you. I mean, the recent Trust Wallet, it's a self-custodial wallet, and it got hacked. So there are supply chain hacks. And as a software engineer, when the hacks happen for like Apple, Google, or social media, I'm least bothered because okay, my funds are in it. It's just okay. No, my passwords got leaked. But when I actually lose my hard-earned savings, my salary to attackers, that's when the problem starts. That's
Hero, so I'm totally agree with you now. But I have to ask you, what is the main motive of building a blockchain technology? So it's basically made for making the whole process decentralized, now, not giving a particular government or organization the power, so they can control.
what do you
If
call Ethereum
think about
Foundation? Bitcoin Foundation at least, okay. Okay, Ethereum Foundation, a Bitcoin Foundation. Bitcoin Foundation technically has a role there. They can propose new, like, new features, and every miner is forced to update their versions, or they themselves break out. So there is always going to be a foundation. I mean, that's just there. I mean, it's always the case. You're gonna have a foundation. You can just say that a foundation also wouldn't consist more than 2,000 members, to be honest. I mean, every blockchain has a foundation, regardless if they are private or public. It's just going to be governed by someone and something.
no, no, I'm saying about public blockchain or decentralized. Now, the power is not
Okay, go
at a
ahead.
particular.
You have enough ETH. Go ahead and become a validator in Ethereum today. You just can't. It's maximized to 200. You just have to join the queue. And there is no guarantee you're gonna get in.
Yes.
So,
So when we talk about the trust formation, now public blockchains are more trustable as compared to the private, because uh, trust come from the code and decentralization. Now.
why would you
You
not
don't
trust?
trust a company. You don't trust a company. You just trust the protocol. Now. Maximum number of users and all.
Okay.
There will be a lot of nodes.
Okay. Okay. You're a smart contract developer, right? So
Right.
I deploy an ERC20 contract, but it's basically I forked it to the point where I reverse the logic of transfer just a bit. So if you sign the transaction, you a stablecoin transaction in with my malicious ERC20 contract, what happens is that debitors actually make money, get inflow, and the senders lose their money. You can have faulty logic. You're a software engineer after all. That's what threat actors play. That threat actor still exists, whether it's privacy first or with this. But with privacy first, what you inherently gain is that there is a proof. You are, let's just talk about the proof. You're admitting to what you're doing. You're not just signing a transaction, but you're also executing that transaction, building the proof and submit it on the chain. There is no one executing that. So that's what makes privacy so good. I mean, the worst case scenario, you look at the proof and you can just compare it, simulate it. You are the EVM in a privacy first protocol. That's the goal
Uh,
here. I mean, there is no knowledge that's transferred except for what you want to share. That's it. I mean, let's just say you make a transfer, you can even hide the numerical value and keep it to yourself. That's one advantage. Take Zcash, for instance. The same
yes.
idea. It's private. So there is no way for third actors to exploit if you build a swapping protocol around Zcash. I mean, because you don't know what's the amount of Zcash that's being swapped. You can just verify that the user has kept the right ratio. Whatever is agreed upon, you can create signature schemes, essentially build the Merkle road and have the commitments of both the swapping providers, and you make the swap happen. That's all you do. You don't know the exact values, but you know they have agreed upon the same conditions. So you have done Neuer, right? Neuer or ZK circuits. So the same idea applies. You're agreeing to conditions, and conditions are more powerful than the data itself. It's like
Yes.
you want to build, let's just say you want to take India's elections that's coming up in many states right now, or assembly elections, for instance, onto the blockchain. Will you bring it to a public blockchain? No, it's a mess. It becomes the blockchain itself becomes a prediction market. That's just not good. I mean, you can see what's happening. So there is a level of transparency that you should never bring. So it applies to swapping, it applies to coin transfers, it applies to everything. So you just, I mean, imagine how insecure it gets to the point where you can figure out who voted for whom, and like, before the elections are over, you get this like, it ruins the concept of everything that we have built up so far. So public, the transparency gives rises not just to the threats, it also gives rise to flaw, the inherent flaw that public transparency brings. That's the
So
thing.
in the public blockchain, everyone can contribute, everyone can find what are the errors, and everyone
Yeah,
work
the
on
analogy is
security
that
now.
imagine a washroom without the doors. That's the thing. It's all open, it's all stinging. Yeah, you're basically
No, it's not.
you're that's the
It's not a
analogy.
correct example with the bathroom and the public
No,
boxes.
it's all
But
stinging.
think
The
about the
smell.
banks. If one day a banks are get stop or stops giving you money, or the whole power is to the government or a particular person. So how can you manage this now?
Okay.
Transparency is not available there now.
Uh,
So there are so many examples where the private blockchains are hard to choose in front of a public blockchain.
okay. I'm just thinking. The analogy. Give me an analogy from yourself. Now, like, what do you call a privacy first blockchain? A bathroom with a door. I mean, that's good,
With
right?
a blurred door, na?
It gives you a security, a sense of security, especially for the other genders. Okay, there's a sense of security that's missing. Like, what's wrong with my analogy there? Are you not able to like, get it full in fullness? That's what's happening. Like, literally getting into blockchain, like, getting into a public blockchain, even with all the masks and the scents and room fresheners, for instance, you're still being in public. That's just, I mean, at least as a Gen Z, I can say that it feels not very comforting. Okay, you can get used to it if you want to and lose all your money. I mean, it's like the casino logic again. But essentially, it's stinging everywhere. You launch an NFT minting contract, it's stinging there. You launch a bridge, it stings everywhere. And you launch a Uniswap, like, you launch the super innovated protocol, but it still falls behind for future. It's not anything that you build for a public blockchain doesn't stand a chance against future. That's the problem. And every pool, I'm telling you, I'm betting you, every Uniswap feature can be exploited. Every Uniswap pool, bring out the innovations that's happened in public blockchain, the top protocols you have, all those protocols can be exploited. The only protocol that can not be exploited is probably the protocol that does nothing. Like a smart contract, like that does practically nothing. Even a calculator, if you launch a calculator, I mean, you have launched written calculators in Java, Golang, all the languages, right? The worst language to write a calculator will be Solidity. That's the crazy
Yes.
thing. Because there are overflow issues, there are so much limitations put into place, and you're running this EVM in a very powerful machine, and what you get out of it is so little. So that's the reason why, I mean, there was this debate on Solidity versus Rust, and Rust gives you a lot. But the thing here is that Rust in blockchain, it's a very controversial topic. Rust becomes comparative awesome, which is again, and it's not even perfect wasm there. You don't get access to arrays. And I mean, Rust is awesome. It's very scalable. It's so good, but it gets to the point where you don't use it right or you can't use it right because again, it's public. I mean, there's too many threat actors lying around. You can design a perfect protocol. There is no such thing as a perfect protocol when you have too much publicity, like
So
no
Hero,
transparency. Yeah.
let's take the Dhaval's question. Uh, are enterprises are more likely to adopt public blockchains or privacy first protocols, and why?
Mm,
So I think in the early stage, now enterprises can most about risk and compliance and control also. So privacy first system feels familiar because of this resemble existing and society enterprises. Uh, if it will be a permission access or data confidentiality, but as use case mature, enterprises can facing a different problem scale or other feature also. So public blockchain offers so many things, just like shared infrastructure, open standards, and global liquidity is most important. Also, the vendor neutral platforms. That's extreme hard to replicate now.
So
It's not a
coming from
closed
the
system.
industry, the thing here is that I've worked with enterprises who wanted to work with blockchains, and for the initial use case, it's just the hype and the marketing of the blockchains that they find considerate. I mean, they are already Web2 secure solutions. They are pioneers in Web2. Most of the technologies used by enterprises already Web2 safe. So they are not looking for a Web2 equivalent in Web3. If they were looking something that gives the same security as Web2, they would go for privacy first, but they're not looking for innovation there. They don't have a team to maintain that level of innovation. They're just going with the hype. You just want to say that I'm more open now. I need to onboard more users. I want to onboard Web3 users. It generates a sense of curiosity, some level of curiosity. It's not really about innovation for 99.9% of the enterprises who want to adopt. So they would go for somewhere like where they can make money. Revenue potential is high for, let's take Polygon, where there's gas fee, low gas fee, and a lot of users have their stable coins in Polygon, Solana. So but if they really wanted a solution, like let's just take governments, or like if you want the closest equivalent to UPI in Web3, it's not gonna be on public blockchain. I mean, if you want something as scalable
Yes.
as UPI, it's never gonna be on public blockchain. You'd have to wait for eternity for, I mean, we do what, 1 million transactions per second. Imagine doing
Huh.
that much on
Yes. Yes.
public blockchain. It's never gonna happen. It comes from privacy first. Hey, it's just
Uh,
ZK pros. You can verify the ZK pros and like be an early validator, approve one. So the scalability lies always on privacy first. When privacy first emerged because of the stinky smell of blockchains, public blockchain. It wasn't like privacy came first. It was always a blockchain, public blockchain that came first, and privacy arised as some kind of L100. So let's just say if you put 100 innovations of blockchain together, like L2, L3, L4, alpha, this L100 were like you're suddenly living in 2050. That's the kind of experience you get. So a blockchain made to withstand most of the threats of 2050, that's what privacy first is. That's the best analogy I can bring. I also like to address Kunal's question, if it's all right. So can privacy first systems remain open to innovation at scale, right? So, I mean, privacy first emerged as, or like, as itself, it's an innovation. It's a mind-boggling innovation. On a mathematical frontier, it's so hard to grasp to an extent. It comprises mostly of decades of hard work and innovation. Sometimes I get lost in the white papers of privacy first protocols. It's so beautifully done to prevent all exploits. I mean, when you have something that's mathematically safe, it becomes suddenly computer safe too. So that's what you gain. So with privacy first, you have it backed by math. mathematical proofs, mathematical knowledge, and the expertise of the leading researchers in the field. And these researchers know nothing about blockchains, maybe. They are working core on building privacy first protocols, bringing the best out, and something that can be safe. The only times when privacy first breaks is with quantum computers. We're still far away to catch up on quantum computers, but again, there are innovations on that frontier too. So there are quantum computers, quantum resilient privacy first protocols that's emerging. So we are on a good road there too. So innovations happening on all scales, and especially people who are coming to blockchain, I would seriously recommend getting into privacy first, and then realizing the stingy, once you get the kaleidoscope view of blockchains, like a public blockchain, you realize all the vulnerabilities, then you'd only use privacy first protocols for your convenience. No one would even think about public blockchains because you just don't want to be in a war zone all day.
Uh, as we are talking about the UPI, na, so in the UPI we can track all the transactions we have made and also get the information of the user who made the payment. So here we find everything is transferable. Na. We can track each and every payment, or it could be a public or private both. Na. We can use a hybrid platform. What is
Um,
your overview regarding this?
uh, so you want a hybrid platform. You're proposing a hybrid where you get more transparency, but more transparency actually kills privacy. That's and privacy first protocols. It's because it's less transparent. It's built for a cause. It's not built for everything. Most privacy first protocols aren't built for everything. And the things that's built for everything aren't so scalable. Let's take FHE, for instance. Okay, you can homomorphically encrypt, but there's a limit. You can go on encrypting everything. There's always you're gonna run into computational limits with FHE and other privacy first stacks. Like it's built for a cause. It's itself a solution. That's the point. So it can
Uh,
be versatile in the near future, but it's not, at least at the moment.
but
So,
as you talking about the security picture, na, so public blocks are secured. Actually, they have so many bug bounties. Na, everyone can contribute how to solve the problem, or secured by public scrutiny. Everyone contribute, find error, find the bug, how can everyone can track transaction, or they can search all the fraud and other thing from the platform, particularly through the bug bounties. Everyone is contributing open sourcely.
I
So
mean, there is so
as
much
many
noise.
number
I
of
mean, that's what I call a noise. And there is so much noise that's happening in public blockchain. And when you have like that much noise, what happens is that you don't hear the screams, you don't hear anything, you're just hearing noise. I mean, there is a DJ happening and your mind's capit. I mean, you don't hear a lady screaming who is on lamenting at loss or something. You just hear that like the vibe. Okay, you're in a DJ. You want to be like part of the circle. You feel to want to be in it, but you're never in it. And ultimately, you only realize the other side when you have lost your money or when you see people, when you actually feel. I've been through that, so I understand the harsh reality of public blockchain. So I'm not like against public blockchain or anything. I think public blockchain did bring a lot value in the past decade. It's just not scalable. I would rather not have 1 billion Indians onboarded to public blockchain. It's just
but
too
all
much
the
of a mess
global
there.
crypto payments are made by the public blockchain. Na? Uh,
That's all. All? Do you want some numbers on the trillions of dollars that's being exchanged? I mean, public
Uh,
blockchain, no, it's still
yes,
small.
the first one is Bitcoin. It will be around 15 years. Bitcoin will be from the public blockchain. The main components of public blockchain are Bitcoin and Ethereum. Both they
So
relate to
you're
this.
centralized. Yeah, okay, you narrowed it to two blockchains. Okay. Let's address those two, Bitcoin and Bitcoin, and it's like what? Bitcoin market cap is like $3 trillion. That's not even our GDP,
Yes,
by the way. Our GDP is greater
yes.
than that. It's more than that. So Bitcoin is not built for the scale. It's not. It can't even do like imagine like how many transactions have you personally performed on a public blockchain?
It depends upon the number of users or number of nodes.
What
It
your
can.
transaction? Yeah, personally for you,
Okay,
how many
okay.
transactions?
No, no. I have not. I have not tried this.
You
I have never
haven't. So
not tried.
how do you feel so confident advocating it to a new guy? You yourself don't make enough transactions. You don't hold Bitcoins in like self-custodial wallet. Then what are we speaking about here? I mean, uh, the there are players who are making big in public blockchain, and they are the SECs, of course, centralized exchanges, and there are exchanges that claim to be decentralized but use a centralized order book. I don't know. There is a hypocrisy there. So the thing I want to highlight here is that when you don't take anything for granted in a public blockchain, people could be saying something and doing exactly the opposite of it. That's what I've learned.
Uh,
So yeah.
Nirupma Bhatt is asking what kind of vulnerabilities you have on public blockchains.
So I started off with MEV, but her smart contract EVM exploits, especially 0.7.0, was like plagued with a plague that like the only reason Open Zeppelin exists like got so much traction is because of those exploits. I mean, with simple math that's supposed to work doesn't work on Solidity, doesn't work on EVM, and it was exploited so bad. The smart contract exploits are so terrible, so terrible. It has led to millions and millions in losses. And the third most important vulnerability here is that there is no security, inherent security that you're getting once you have been hacked or something. I mean, as soon as you lose your private key, it's you're almost a deadbeat. And they're like, especially if you're using a software wallet, wallets are always exploitable. And in terms of hardware wallets, they are unreasonably priced and not accessible to. If you lose a hardware wallet, you're again lost. If you lose a recovery phrase, you're lost. I mean, there might be in the near future quantum computers that can guess your 13 word recovery phrase. 13, 25, no,
But
12,
I
right?
think smart vulnerabilities are so big in the public blockchain because contracts are immutable. A small bug can lead to large losses if not detected early through the bug bounties and all. So retency attack, integer overflow, or access control mistake is common in the public blockchain. Uh, if we talk about the vulnerabilities, so infrastructure and operational risk is also matter.
Yeah.
So compromise per private key can be leaked whenever user can share it with someone. So it's also a part of vulnerability in public blockchains.
Yeah, in its essence, like what happened really was that there was a vulnerability that was there. It was hacked, and that led to the creation and launch of the next blockchain, which claimed to be superior, but and ended up being an inferior to the next one, to next and next and next. And there are some OGs that still stay today, and we speak of them mostly. I mean, every blockchain evolved as a solution. It was always a solution, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Polygon, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's Optimism. It's all been solutions for us so far. So that's all great. But the thing here we overlook is that No matter how many blockchains exist today, there is never going to be an ideal blockchain. We can just dream of ideal blockchains. I mean, it's never going to happen. It's never going to scale to the level of Web 2. That's 100% sure. Like you just can't have the kind of it doesn't have enough potential to be competitive to Web 2. Like take any service for that matter. I can whip it up. Like I'm a super backend engineer. I could probably whip that service faster than you would any VM, like whatever. Yeah, and if nobody can audit private blockchains, if its code is not visible, how can we know if it's fully secure or not? So the one good thing about okay, that's a good question too. Okay, if you can't audit private blockchain, so it doesn't matter. The code doesn't matter for a private, not private blockchain, privacy first protocols in general, because it's all about the protocol itself. So for Bitcoin, let's consider Bitcoin for instance. Bitcoin's it's not really about the software implementation. It's mostly about the Bitcoin protocol itself. So that's one good thing that when you mentioned that there are less exploits that's happening, it's because the protocol is strong. Whereas when you talk about other L2s and L1s in like Ethereum, it's just that the protocol is okay. Proof of stake is good. Okay, it's reliable enough. But what happens is that the smart contract layer adds in too much vulnerabilities, enables a lot more threat actors to exist, coexist, all that. So you have to kind of like audit smart contracts, and believe me, everyone audits everything these days, but it's just not good enough. Even with all the audits, you're gonna have new EIP proposals that's integrated. So either your contract gets exploited down the road, or your contract is already vulnerable to an existing vulnerability that's not discovered, or that's already discovered but not brought into mainstream attention. So it could be any of those cases. So that's for certain. And when you talk about like auditing, privacy first, it's again privacy first. The protocol itself, the ZK proof itself is tamper proof. That's what makes it so good. So let's take Tornado Cash for instance. You can trust the Tornado Cash and its smart contract. There are just no vulnerabilities there. The protocol is sturdy and secure enough. I mean, you are building the like one good thing is that you are writing the proof yourself and signing the proof and sending it. So you're just making a commitment there. That's what makes it so secure. You are acknowledging that commitment. It's all driven by conditions and logic. So the logic is transparent. So with privacy first, most of the time the logic is transparent, the conditions are transparent, even though the data is securely held. And that's what we need actually. I don't literally want to know how much is transferred. I just want to know the logic is right. The logic is right. With smart contracts, the issue is that the documented logic doesn't apply to edge cases, or we don't take enough time to read through the logic and understand the edge cases most of the time. We are incredibly smart. Even with AI, we are getting smarter. It's just not smart enough to handle the edge cases of today or tomorrow or the past. All of it. And isn't Telegram
Uh,
and the
Hero,
lifestack
I would
same?
like to take the Istiak's question. So he was asking, isn't the Telegram decentralized or what we say blockchain? So this is a very common confusion. So clear the answer, help the whole audience. So I would like to tell that no, Telegram is not a fully blockchain or not fully decentralized. Basically, Telegram is a centralized messaging platform. It can be owned by a single organization. Servers are controlled by the Telegram itself, and the company can update tools, block accounts, and shut down the services. Even through the Telegram support encryption, open APIs, bots, and communities. So I don't think it's a fully decentralized application or
Uh, Tan is a different story. I think he meant Tan, not Telegram. So would be nice to clarify.
Hero, can you share me our audience more about the ZK? zero knowledge smart contracts in the privacy first protocol.
Yeah, so the idea here is minimize knowledge or zero knowledge, where there is no knowledge that's being inherently transferred during communications. That's the goal. That's the goal. So for instance, you're authenticating. So typical Web2 authentication involves what? Hashes. So you're not sending the password itself, you're sending the hash. But hash again is deterministic. So what happens is that if hash is deterministic, now you could actually brute force it. So there are ways to brute force it. At the worst case scenario, quantum computers can brute force it. So that itself is a vulnerability. So I believe SHA-256 public keys of Bitcoin is already cracked now by quantum computers these days. So hashes are insecure. I mean, hashes make things very insecure, and zero knowledge avoids all that. It builds lattice-like structures to build on conditionals and public-private key mutations to make it possible to do either FHE, which is like you're performing computation on encrypted data, or you're basically validating encrypted data. And that's
Uh,
possible
s-
with
so Hiruk,
secure.
yeah, do you think it's immutable?
What is immutable?
Zero knowledge smart contracts, privacy first protocol. ZK.
Immutable in what sense are we talking about? So what we do is that
Uh,
we layer. So if you take Mina, for instance, it's constant
it can
64.
be attacked or it can be hacked. I have to ask. Zero knowledge can be mutable or immutable.
So it's basically that most privacy first protocols these days you leverage the concept of stocks or snarks. Snarks is like okay, very succinct, like proof. It's essentially a proof that something happened. Okay, that's just it. Now you know what happened. So if you say what happened, then you can actually develop the proof and submit it. So if your age is, let's just say, 21, you could say that, okay, my age is 21, I'm proving it, and I'm giving a proof that my age is 21. But you don't know anything else about me. You just know that my age is 21. But it could also mean that, okay, you're generating a proof that my age is greater than 18. So where you don't even exchange your age, and there is no way for the communication or like you figure out the age. So there's zero knowledge passed except for what you have agreed to pass. So that's the inherent concept of zero knowledge. It's not breakable in the sense because you're not leaking any information, or in the proof there is no correlation between the proof and the your data. That's the idea here. You take cut down the correlation. So if you just rotate, if you do Caesar cipher or just rotate the data, it's just encryption. So encryption, deterministic encryption brings hashes which are vulnerable to cracks. We avoid all that. And yeah, I mean, I think we are running out of time. I'd like to take a dodge on few more questions, but yeah, I mean, 1 minute and we are done. So in elections, you need at least some data to be transparent, like number of voter, voting percentage, etc. Full privacy is not trustworthy enough. I'm not sure like elections today have that much transparency. So I don't know, depending on the kind of election. So for FTC, we did a different kind of election where we gave no transparency at all. The transparency you're talking about is like, okay, I made a vote. I'm not secure enough to publish that I made this vote. But once the election is over, you're given a platform where you can publish and bring the proof that you made this vote. That's okay. So that kind of transparency we are talking about here. In terms of number of votes that can be easily done because you're making a transaction against the smart contract or against the protocol. So you would of course get the number of voter. At least it's something that you can always figure out. Voting percentage, okay, voting percentage again. It's a very tricky question amidst election. You don't want to because it's gonna determine the winner. So you want to have a clear market, like the clear place where like there is no bias. So you want to avoid all kinds of bias there. So full privacy is not trustworthy. Privacy is what makes it trustworthy, to be honest. I mean, encryptions are like exist today because of privacy. We want privacy. No one wants your WhatsApp hack chats to be exposed. No one wants it. Like we want end-to-end encryption. We want privacy. Even if we say it's not trustworthy. So I don't know. So yeah, that's it.
Uh,
On my
but the
page.
in election,
It's
uh,
45 hours.
the data.
Mhm.
Hello, I'm audible
Yes.
now. Yes.
Yes.
So in the elections, it like when we take the example of election. So while individual a person vote remains private, some data has to be transparent for the system to be trusted. Now, things like number of voters, voter turnout, and the final count are public because without that transparency, people won't trust the outcome or the result. This will be happen in India currently. If a system is fully privacy first, so
Mhm.
with minimum public visibility, how do we
RG
build trust
fans.
at scale?
RG fans, right? Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, okay. I
Yes.
can get where the question is coming from. I mean, we don't trust the system today, so we are going to something and we expect something more. So yeah, again, like I build FHE based solutions. So this is where fully homomorphic encryptions and newer protocols make this happen. It's again a heavily research concept, and some of the current solutions actually tackle most of the challenges we face today. So let me address your questions. It's about like, so let's take Tornado Cache, not Tornado Cache. Any privacy first protocol has some concept of like a secret key and a public key, like multiple secret keys and public keys. So as a government, the election body, for instance, can actually announce a day where most of the like, it can release the private, not the secret key, one of the secret keys, which reveals most of the data. So you're again trusting a bureaucracy to an extent, but you're trusting them to do their job. So when they release it at that point to the blockchain, everything becomes open except for your individual choices. That's again private. That's again kept private with your secret keys. That's the advantage here. So privacy first protocol, I just can't take a stab on like, a general basis because it's again an evolving solution and you can condition your protocol in ways to make it fit. So in a retrospect, I would say that if anything that's being done on Web 2 can be done with a privacy first protocol, given the same level of privacy for most use cases, including elections. So yeah, that's the way I put it.
Uh, Hero, as someone is asking, how does AI affect on finding vulnerabilities? So I don't think AI doesn't eliminate vulnerabilities. It helps us to find them faster, earlier, and more accurately. We can use AI to find the vulnerabilities and what are the bugs. So we cannot eliminate vulnerabilities through the AI.
Yeah, from my experience, I'd probably like give you that answer back in 2022. But Claude has recently improved a lot in terms of like smart contract vulnerabilities because everything in Web3, the documentations, it's all public, and what Anthropic did is awesome. Like Claude is so good. I mean, so good. It's kind of a PhD in smart contract vulnerabilities. So that kind of deterministic vulnerabilities and protocol vulnerabilities can be tackled with AI. Today, the latest LLM models, it's just a PhD in those kind of practical vulnerabilities. So and prior to 2022, I did this. I got this gig where I was building a solution, MEV solution for it's a land-based company where like we were tackling we are not tackling MEV challenges, but rather we were empowering it. We are leveraging MEV to make money. So we build MEV bots with AI too. And you can still do it today with Polymarket and other solutions. You can pick up and exploit their MEV vulnerabilities. And MEV vulnerabilities has been disclosed by Polymarket themselves. So you can exploit if the winnings are that big. So yeah, that's still there. So yeah. AI is good at vulnerabilities, no disagreements there. But just because AI is able to do everything doesn't mean you have to blindsidely trust it. That's also another. Because the AI at some point, what happened was that AI was getting confused with the vulnerabilities of a previous Solidity version and messing it up. So sometimes that could happen. Even though AI is like the super genius, it also gets its answer wrong, just like anyone else. Yeah. Any other
Yes.
questions?
Uh, I think so many people ask their question. One question is running. I would like to take their question. Can you explain a bit on maintaining privacy for AI agents?
Privacy for AI agents.
I don't think I have an answer for this.
I mean, I don't think it's a big enough problem at the moment. I'm not sure. Like, okay, there are ways to do so. I mean, use a privacy first protocol or develop a privacy protocol. But yeah, again, AI agents themselves just come and vanish at any point. So as long as you mask your IP addresses, you're good. Use a VPN. I don't know. Your AI, you can ask your AI agents to use a proxy VPN or Cloudflare tunnel or something to securely.
Ask this question to ChatGPT, na?
Yeah, essentially ask AI to solve its problem of maintaining privacy. So AI might take it seriously too. So, and I would like to this is also a very interesting statement by Karan. Thanks for bringing it up. Public blockchains are not stinky. They are like sophisticated bathrooms if they employ best-in-class safety features like door locks. Okay, door locks. I was saying that there's no door either, but yeah, I mean, okay, there's a door, so door locks. It's just that bathroom is transparent. So yeah, I mean Japanese toilets are like really good. So yeah, I can relate to that. It's not really stingy. Like yeah, it's not it looks very spotless to be honest, Karen. So if it was stingy, no one's gonna use it, right? So it's of course not stingy. It's just that you have to put another lens. Like you're seeing your world and with this ultraviolet light filter. I mean your retinas can see, and then you put on this UV goggles and everything is black and white now. So all you see is black and white. So think about that. Like, so you get a different perspective where then you start to see the rage. You see the rage of the victims. So I heard the screams of the victims that has made me put on that lens and be very judicious about my usage in public blockchain, how I use it, how I approach it. That's just the end of it. Public blockchains, there is no police lying around that's gonna secure you or protect you. In fact, if it's possible, I would encourage every government to dissuade people from using public blockchain because it's a huge economic threat for a government on an economic scale. Because a lot of crypto exploits scams that's happening in India right now is involved through a blockchain. Either your money gets exploited and on ramp to a blockchain by the scammer and leaves spotless, or other way around. Or yeah, I mean, people are so crypto illiterate and public blockchain illiterate. I mean, there is no end to it. I mean, yeah, that's just it. And in terms of best-in-class safety features exist, we just don't know how to use those safety features. I mean, it's there are safety features. It's just that we don't know. It's like going to a Japanese toilet the first time and not realizing how it works. And yeah, it looks transparent from the outside. And unless you turn on the tab, it's just like, you have to close it to make sure that, okay, it's now closed. And you don't realize it unless you have experienced it. Now you're a victim. I haven't ever used it and you become a victim suddenly. So I know, but yeah, this would mean that, okay, just newbies and beginners get affected by blockchain. But that's also not the case. I've seen 12-year-olds, experts, very experts who are getting scammed. Mark Cuban got scammed $700,000 or something. And I wouldn't consider him as a fool. Fools who are getting scammed either. Not scammed per se, I mean, falling prey to phishing attacks and stuff. It just happens to everyone, and it can happen to anyone at any point of time. That's the thing, and there is no recovery. So yeah,
I would like
that's
to
it. I
share.
think. Oh, it's high time we wrap.
I would like to share my perspective
Yeah,
regarding
okay.
the public blockchains. Now, so public blockchains are not the unsafe or chaotic. Now, actually, they are well designed modern bathrooms. They work because they have locks, rules, and hygiene standards. The difference is the infrastructure is transparent, so anyone can verify it's clean and functional property.
Anyone can peep in and see if you're peeing. Yeah, that's true. I mean, anyone can see if someone's using it and judge you. I mean, if yeah, if basically spending, they can make an analysis. Okay, that's cool. I mean, yeah, people have done that. I mean, I can relate to villages and but I mean, still in India, we're like, okay, you can be judgy. I mean, when the urban people go there and you can judge the village people. So that's the kind of experience. The public blockchain does give you a village like transparent, simple experience out in the open kind of experience. Yeah, so
I would like
you
to
can get
give
used to
one
it.
like close. Transparency doesn't replace security; it validates it.
Oh, okay, okay. Transparency validate. I don't think your bank is being transparent enough then. And you still have all your funds in your bank, right? So I don't think it's a validation. We all depend on something for validation, whether it's a validator in Facebook or a validator in UPI or a bank or a government, or we eventually end up depending on someone to get the job done, a mediator. That's it. That's the layman way to put it. That's just how it works. And if you're doing something illegal, then of course it makes sense to use a public blockchain because you can hide behind the anonymity there. So you get to hide behind it, and that's cool too. I wouldn't live in a world without bad people in it. I mean, bad people gives rise to the need for bad plans to emerge too. So you need military, you need all that, you need terrorists, all that. It's just very insecure to live in that world, and I wouldn't spend my lifetime there. I'd just roam around to privacy first and just visit. I mean, I live in Dubai, so it makes sense why it feels that way for me as well. I'd want that security and where I can take things for granted. So yeah, that's the end of it. It's time to wrap up now. So yeah, it's clear like scaling Web3 isn't about choosing a path. It's multitude of options there. And public blockchains and privacy first protocols can work in hand to solve different problems at different layers of the ecosystem. So the real progress comes from the understanding where they fit and how they can coexist. And they do coexist gladly. So, and thank you for joining the Security Apps Face Off. Stay tuned for the episode 2 of the Face Off, yeah. And yeah, follow Security App on LinkedIn, Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. Subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time. Till then, stay secure, and always stay ahead. So stay secure. So what's the way to stay secure, Piyush?
Stay secure and stay transparent.
Stay secure. Either stay in Web3, no, stay in Web2, or use privacy first. That was the answer.
Okay, okay.
Thank you. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you, Hero. Nice to meet you. See you again.
See you.